Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Great Southern Slam 2018. We're coming to you live and direct from Track 2. We're about to get set for some fantastic Div 3 action. We've got Team Potluck and we've got the Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby with us. My name is Pants.
And I'm Dylan with it. And how you doing this morning? Nice to see everyone up bright and early to watch some of this nice Division 3 action here on Track 2.
Hope you got your coffee. Hope you got your eggs and bakey. Or your vegan donuts, or whatever turns you on. It's Sunday morning and we are ready to rock and roll. Let's run through some teams. Dylan, what do you reckon?
All right, so we've got Team Potluck. So, just in case you've missed it, Team Potluck is actually a combination team of a number of leagues. It was released back into the Great Southern Slam in 2010. They kept it going all these years. It's about bringing skaters together from different leagues so they can, maybe do something a little bit different, work some magic. But who we got? We have 106 Mad Hatton from the Victorian Roller Derby League. We got 11 Chips from Gladstone. We got 173 Ubercorn from the Wagga Derby Dolls. 2412 Down Under Thunder from Western Sydney. 268 Crush and Kick from the Coastal Assassins. 32 Bob and Weaver from Canberra. We have 369 Merrill Creep from our host, the Adelaide Roller Derby. We have 042 Black Belter from the Rockabellas. We've got 47 Kalashnikov from Western Sydney. We've got 53 Terra Australis from the Victorian Roller Derby League. 58 Conker from Geraldton. 689 from Fairy Dust, again from our host Adelaide Roller Derby. 73 Ruby Storm from the Rockabellas Roller Derby League. We've got 8 Gnome Chomsky from Adelaide Roller Derby as well. And 95 Buzz Nightmare hailing from Light City. And on the bench we have Tomahawk and Loose Cannon.
You beauty. From Wollongong we have 1-1 Binder Hellenbach. 1-4 Cranky Crumpet. 180 Scarlet Ladder, 29 Ziggy Starbuster, 3 Axe and Hips, 32 Executioner, 4 Kitty Killer, 546 Nat Out of Hell, 74 Nat Rageous, 824 Viciousness, 9 Cat O' Tails, and 96 Rathana. Benchies today are Luscious Locks and Shotgun Shelly with help from Control Alt Delete and Poltergeist and Brad. So everyone's made the big trip across to Adelaide. We are all set to rock. We just heard the rolling whistle from the jam timer, so we are all set to go for number 1 jam of number 1 period of number 1 bout of day number 2. We do have the chat going on the YouTubes as well, so if you do have some feedback about the quality of the live stream, like the sound quality or something like that, we were very, very happy to hear about that. Also, if you've got a shout out to one of your favourite skaters that you're tuning in to see, we'll put it on the stream too. Let's get it on. We have a battle of 4s to start with. So we've got Kitty Killer as well as Kalashnikov. So let's get it on. Kalashnikov managing to get her way through the pack quite nicely. She's right up the front and there she goes. So we've got our first lead jam of the game going to Team Potluck. And also Kitty Killer has been released. So let's just see what we can see going around the corner.
Yeah, well, Team Potluck usually very impressive in their action, particularly since it is essentially a group of random skaters. They've never played before this weekend together, really, and they all have to get together, form a game plan, and try and beat these teams and get up the pool.
It's an interesting experiment, if you wish, to see if talented skaters can work together, because so much of roller derby is teamwork. What you build up over the months and years of practicing, scrimmaging and playing together. Can you get a whole bunch of amazing people in one room and magic can happen? Let's see. Well, already some magic's happened. They're leading by 4 points.
Well, yes, and then you definitely get the different amount of skills from these other leagues coming together. But then you've got to wonder, can these different sets of skills and game plans work together, or do they ultimately end up clashing?
Exactly. So Axe and Hips is now lead for Word. And we also have Gnome Chomsky just working her way through the pack, but getting held up. The helmet cover is off at the moment, so trying to find Down Under Thunder perhaps for a star pass, but she's now at the front of the pack. So we'll see how she goes trying to weave through. Push to the outside. Axon Hips, meanwhile, has completed one scoring pass and about to easily complete another.
Yeah, sneaking in on that inside line there on the apex curve. Weird having a bit of a response, coming back with their own couple of points.
Yeah, Word, no strangers to the Great Southern Slam. They've been here before, and so a lot of these players would have been here before as well. So they know what to expect, and knowing how to work together may be to their advantage today, as we see a beautiful stack in front of our camera.
Bit of a collision course there. A few bodies hit the floor, but...
when it results in Axon Hips going to the penalty box, so now it's a power jam for Team Potluck. So
looks like a Down Under Thunder went to the penalty box herself.
Yeah, and a bit of a gingerly get up there. She's looking at her left thigh, her left knee. Yeah, just doing a couple of stretches on the bench, so hopefully there's no damage.
That just shows the toughness and the resilience of these roller derby ladies. They can fall down, they take some hard hits, but ultimately you see them get right back up again, and
Absolutely.
on skates nonetheless. So
that's what's always so impressive to me, how hard some of these people hit the floor like that and then bounce straight back up. There goes Noam Chomsky.
Yeah.
And
looks like a viciousness saying no star pass on my time here.
And not even an initial pass. So poor Noam. That was a 2-minute bout for no reward at all. That's a real shame for her, but I'm sure she'll be back on deck very shortly. We've got Fairy Dust for Team Potluck, and we also have Ziggy Starbuster for Weird.
Fairy Dust recognisable by that very colourful tutu at the jammer line.
Yep. I'll say this about Fairy Dust as well. She's also a part-time hairdresser and is responsible for my haircut, so I appreciate Fairy Dust in more ways you can imagine. And now you know. All right, so very quickly, Starbuster is through.
So we've got Fairy Dust versus Stardust here, actually.
There you go, Battle of the Dusts.
Looks like a Ziggy. Oh, look at that. Backing away through the pack, turning right around, and 5-point scoring pass there.
Yeah, will not be denied. Dusty, meanwhile, is on the inside, trying to work her way through.
Yeah, you can see her using her fellow Potluck players as a support, sort of lightly holding onto their hips to try and get through that pack of purple there.
Yeah, you can also always use your own team players to give you a hand through.
Very, very popular technique. Saw a couple of games yesterday as well. Is for blocking is when you push your player into another one.
Yeah. It's all legal. You can sort of use your own player as a battering ram if you wish. It looks a bit brutal, but it's fun.
Very brutal, but very effective when pulled off. And Ziggy Starduster just on that outside line like it was nothing.
Yeah, 20-point jam so far, and that's including a trip to the penalty bin. So on an absolute roll here today, and looks like Fairy Dust is through.
Oh, and some very effective blocking there by 180 Scarlet Letter from Weird, just pushing the Potluck players out of the way, letting Ziggy Stardust to just breeze through.
Yeah, a little too effective because the forearms penalty was called.
Yeah.
There's that fine line. You can cross it quite easily, though. So the referee's on top of everything already early this morning.
Yeah, you can't get anything really past those zebras. They do catch. Well, we've got quite a few of them on the track watching all the action. So, yeah. But then sometimes when you just want to get through that pack, a stray elbow or a forearm, it happens. Of course, you try not to, but you're trying to find that gap too.
All right, Kalashnikov is through for Team Potluck as lead jammer up against Kitty Killer as the other jammer for this one.
Potluck a bit better in their defense, coming right together.
Yeah.
So you see, the moment the wall's broken up, another one forms right in front of her.
Yeah, Ubercorn getting amongst it there as well and lending a hand. So that was a nice break-up of the pack there. That
but it
allowed
looks like
the jammer to get through easily.
But we do have a power jam situation for Team Potluck now.
So not only lead jam, but now power jam So a chance to really get back here. At the moment, they're 30 points behind, so this is a great opportunity for Kalashnikov.
Scarlet Letter was trying to stop that power jam situation, but earned herself a trip to the box.
Yeah, that's the second one for this jam as well, so perhaps some early foul trouble.
Quite possibly in trying to chase the jammer, may have found a no-pack situation. You can only go so far chasing that jammer before the ref says, nope, you got to go back and you got to let them go.
Crushing kick heading to the penalty area at the end of the jam, so both teams with one blocker in the penalty area, WIRD with the jammer who is currently standing. So they're going to stick on Noam Chomsky for Team Potluck here to try and make the best use of the few seconds that they'll have for the power start. See if she can get through quickly. Let's see. So Potluck up at the pivot line, making sure Noam has to skate a long way.
Yeah, so they got that fast-moving pack there. And their Team Potluck decided to sort of fast follow rather than staying back and letting Wollongong form a no-pack situation.
And it's actually you come to Wollongong's favour as Kitty Killer is now lead jammer straight out of the penalty box and straight through the pack. Wham. Noam Chomsky doing a quick adjust to the knee pads and is off and racing as well.
And it looks like we've got two more blockers out of the penalty box, so all players on track now.
Yep. So it's a points and call and a sneaky point for Team Potluck. Yes, like my sneaky points, even this early in the morning. So currently 42 plays 19.
Okay, so all players on track, and up at the jammer line we have number 3 Axe and Hips in the purple and number 11 Chips from Team Potluck.
If you're a fan of rhyming names, you're in luck today.
Hips and Chips.
It sounds like a really bad combo from the fish and chip shop down the corner.
Well,
better than lips and chips anyway. All right, let's keep going. Now, Chips has taken off the helmet cover, so she wasn't lead jammer anyway, but just chasing down Hips and manages to force the call up before any points can be scored.
Yeah, you gotta be aware of where your other jammer is. Some jammers they'll go for the points nonetheless. They'll trust their blockers, but this one they thought, a bit too close. Might want to call it off.
Yeah, maybe a bit early in the game as well to start thinking about that sort of strategy. You want to just try and get as many points on the board as you can and deny early on. All right, let's get it on for another one. Ziggy Starbuster back on against Kalashnikov, so it looks like the jammer rotations have settled down pretty nicely. Looks like both teams are using a 3 jammer rotation.
And WIRD once again in the purple with the lead jammer position. Who do we have? We have number 29, which is Ziggy Starbuster.
Okay, let's keep it going. And one of the WIRDs getting sent off to the penalty bin. So let's pack advantage with Team Potluck again.
It is the pivot, so there'll be no star passing today. Not like a Ziggy Starbuster really needs it. Look at her go.
Okay, flash up the front with a bit of help from Buzz Nightmare.
A bit of a nice wall from Team Potluck. They're at the back of the pack, though Scarlet Letter effective in breaking it up and letting Ziggy through.
And almost a second scoring pass, but yet. So 52 at the moment for the Steel City Derby Dolls, and Team Potluck almost on 20, just 19. All right, Kitty Killer back on for WIRD, and Noam Chomsky back on for Team Potluck. We have an official timeout. So both jam refs just coming over to have a chat with the score bench just to make sure that everything from the last jam is allocated correctly. It's important to get that correct before you start your next jam.
So yes, we do have a lot of the refs on skates, but as I'm not sure if you can see on the boutcast there at home, you'll see a lot of figures in black standing around the pack, or maybe sitting down right near us. Those are our non-skating officials, so they're making sure everything is correct and fair. So correct with scoring, correct with penalties and everything else. So
yep, all the paperwork does get out collated and statistics allocated, and of course if you don't get it right in the paperwork, there's no coming back. Right, so the end of that timeout, there's no change in the lineups. Noam Chomsky hits the deck as Kitty Killer goes around the outside and is your lead jammer.
There was a last-ditch effort there to stop her from Team Potluck. Unfortunately, not successful.
Fairy Dust just working her way through the inside as the pivot just to stay with her teammates. But it's also down under Thunder trying to chase down Killer, trying to get that last final block in, but no can do, so it's a points and call.
Yeah, Weird looking very good at finding these gaps, these nice little gaps in the walls.
That's perhaps the benefit experience coming in here. Nice to see the players having a chat to each other as well. A bit of, hi, how you going? Nice to see you.
Nice bit of derby love there.
Yeah. See you at the after party? Sure.
So it looks like we have Axe and Hips and Chips once again jamming for their respective teams.
Our favourite flavour combination. Okay, so
and Axe and Chips
through.
has it.
Yep. So Chips very studious with getting the helmet cover off quickly, looking for a star pass, but instead picks up a track cut call. So it's now a power jam for Weird.
Yeah, track cuts are very, very common call for jammers who are just trying to get through that pack. May not notice their skates just gone outside. May think they're in, but ref usually catches it.
Team Potluck setting up the front here, trying to show them Axe and Chips.
Bit of a sandwich situation there, but that was nothing to her. She's just breezing on by, making it look like a bit of a walk in the park.
And a no-pack call results in one of the Weirds getting sent to the penalty box.
And again, they've got a bit of a... Oh, she tried to sneak around the wall and they just reformed it back on the other side.
Ziggy Starbuster also heading to the penalty box for a positional violation. Also trying to break up the front wall of Team Potluck there as well in the mix there.
And we do have a jammer out of the box, so Chips back on the track for the Team Potluck.
And good thing the helmet cover is back on. You've got to have it on when you want to score some points. Okay.
So Axe and Hips not calling off the jam, even though her opposition jammer is on the track. She just seems to be preferring to go for a few more points here.
Certainly getting the encouragement from the benchy to do that exact thing.
Which is a funny technique because Potluck actually have the blocker advantage here. It looks like it's now it's the 3-on-2, but it was 3-on-1 there for that last pass.
I guess when you've got confidence in your abilities as a jammer, you want to lay down as many as you can.
But they do have that bit of a lead where they can afford to maybe risk it a little bit and experiment a bit.
Well, that was a 24-8 jam as well, so it certainly paid off in their favour, having that extra couple of scoring passes. So 79 at the moment, playing 27. Ziggy Starbuster on the track and Kalashnikov as well, so another classic lineup about to come your way.
So Kalashnikov are from the Western Sydney Rollers up in Western Sydney, Penrith based, I believe.
So maybe these guys have played against each other before. Wollongong not being too far off from Sydney.
It's quite possibly in the 5x5 tournament held up in the Greater Sydney area of New South Wales.
Cool. All right, so Ziggy Starbuster through, as is Kalashnikov, so scoring pass at the moment and call for Ziggy Starbuster, and only 2 points, but no sneaky points for Team Potluck.
Very quick there. She got the 2 points and just called it off right before Team Potluck could get any.
Yeah, that was going back through
it does appear there might actually be a bit of a debate there on whether or not they did get the one.
You can always ask a question, but if you're serious about it, there's always the official review. But I think
they left that one alone.
Yeah, it's just like, please, no, okay. All right, we've got Noam Chomsky back on against Kitty Killer, and it looks like Kitty Killer is through, but Noam Chomsky right on the tails.
Potential jammer on jammer action here. Kitty, you can see her using very subtle blocking techniques, just very getting in the way, not touching her, but just making sure she doesn't pass and calling off the jam, thinking no, not worth it. She's too close behind. Yeah,
Noam Chomsky's definitely got the speed skates on this morning. She was chomping at the bit, wanting to get through. But yeah, no chance.
Chomp by name and chomping it by nature, eh?
Yeah. Favourite flavour combo on the line, axe and hips and chips, I should say.
Hips and chips, there we go. Axe and hips in the number 3 purple. Chips from Gladstone Roller Derby, 11 for Team Potluck.
Sporting some very distinctive leggings today, covered in the chips of nature here.
Oh, we have a few Potluck bodies down at the back of the pack, which has certainly helped Axe and Hips get through as the lead jammer situation.
Yeah, that's not the way you're supposed to go about it, but that's okay. Team Potluck setting up a long way back here instead of trying to get forward. So
Viciousness almost getting a no pack, trying to stop Chips getting through.
But now Ruby storms out of the penalty box, so now looks like all teams back to 5-on-5 for the start of the next jam. What should we do? Let's stick on Ziggy Starbuster. Let's stick on Kalashnikov. So no wild experimentation with the jammer lineups yet.
Well, definitely if you're Steel City, they seem to have a very, very consistent, good jammer lineup. They got lead jammer for a couple of times in a row here, so they might not be wanting to change it up so early. Oh, well, actually, we're halfway through period 1. Time flies.
We are having fun. Ziggy Starbuster did get through on the inside, but did clip the inside of the track, so is being sent to the penalty bin. Not sure if... I think lead is still open, so a good chance for Kalashnikov to pick up lead here for Team Potluck.
But she does have to get through that initial pass, and Weird making it hard, but she has made it there for her, but... It would be good if they could capitalise on this power jam situation and add a few points to the board for the Team Potluck.
Heck yes. Let's see what happens here. So no big O here from Team Potluck. Just one blocker coming through, trying to help through. That's the pivot 268. That's Crush and Kick from Coastal Assassins.
And it looks like Cato Ninetails being sent to the penalty box as the jammer comes back on. You can see that wall of Potluck at the back just, they were prepping, but Potluck calling off the jam, Kalashnikov.
And 4 points being signalled by the jam ref. So Team Potluck have moved up to 31, chasing down 84.
That's the thing with Roller Derby, a couple of power jams and they're right back in it. So, I mean, the score doesn't necessarily have any reflect on what the end result could be, really.
Except at the end.
Except at the end, yes. Until the official final. Not the unofficial final, the official final.
Kitty Killer up against Noam Chomsky. Again, these two have enjoyed a couple of nice jams recently against each other. Noam being stuck at the back here with Fairy Dust, while yes, Kitty Killer has managed to step through on the outside and pick up lead jammer.
Yeah, you did see that move by Team Potluck as the blocker, I believe it was a Conker from Geraldton, actually pushed her player into the jammer in order to try and hit her out, but Kitty Killer did manage to stay in and continue her scoring passes.
Scarlet Letter has picked up another 4-arm penalty, so that's at least 3 penalties on her so far, so maybe just got to keep an eye on that.
And Kitty Killer just finding that gap in the Potluck wall like it was nothing.
4 points apiece.
Bit of, yeah.
Just call it off. It's the end of that one.
But she did wait for just before they get to him, so they give him a bit of hope, but ultimately...
Yeah, hoping for a Bradbury, I reckon, but 92 at the moment, plays 35, 8-4 on the jam in Kitty Killer's favour. Axe and Hips is back on track already. Keenan's Mustard ready to go. We'll see what Team Potluck are doing. They have their bench coach talking, and we have an officials timeout at the moment.
No, so Team Zebra just making sure everything's in order and that they're all in agreement. But it does give our two teams a time for a bit of discussion, particularly Team Potluck maybe needing a little time to revise their game plan, regroup a little bit. Might get a few more points on the board.
I want to do a bit of a shout out to Rydell Skates. Rydell Skates have been part of Derby life for 70 years. They have an immense stall set up in our marketplace here at the Great Southern Slam. If you're coming down over the weekend, check it all out. They've got such a great range of gear, but check them out online or in a shop as well where you get all your Derby gear. Rydell Skates outfits so many of our derby players and with quality gear, and have been done so for a very long time.
I know I myself, when I did try out for the fresh meat teams a while ago, did actually buy myself a pair of Rydell Vixens. Very nice skate to start off with.
Superb.
No, they do have a great range. They've got the leather skates, and then they've got the different insides. They've got the sort of leather inside, and they've got that like cushion, almost like an Ugg boot kind of going on.
Maybe we need to get an Ugg boot skate going. I don't know. Taking comfort to a whole new level. All right, so it looks like we are going to get our favourite combo.
Oh, hips and chips. Here we go. Oh, look at that. That potluck wall setting right up in front of Axe and Hips. They were just like, no, you're not going anywhere.
So Ubicorn getting involved in that. Black Belter as well.
Did work for a while, but yeah, Axe and Hips finding that gap on the inside line to become the lead jammer again.
And that was a great hit from Viciousness, sending chips off to the inside. So really solid blocking here from Word.
Oh, and a nice hit. Who was it? Team Potluck Ubicorn from the Wagga Derby Dolls. Sending her back and... yeah, and another one. Ubicorn very effective in keeping the jammer on the outside and putting her back behind the Potluck wall.
Looks like as people are waking up and getting into the swing of things on this first bout, the hits are starting to come thick and fast. Another
out one by Ubicorn there as well.
Mad Hatton in the mix of that packs as well, just getting right in the way. This is some really good blocking here from Team Potluck. Looks like 3-2. That's Executioner trying to keep Ubicorn away from the pack.
But Ubicorn broke right through that wall.
Yeah. Now this is a lot of fun. There's some nice play going on.
Yeah, you see a couple of teams will do that though. The blockers will keep one opposing blocker out of play, and therefore it will weaken the main wall at the front, as it will be one blocker down.
You can see that happening right in front of our camera at the moment. That's Executioner again, trying to keep 042 Black Belter away from the pack. Worked for a little while, but it certainly has a frustrating effect on the blocker as well, because it could just shake you up and just shake your concentration for a moment as well.
So Axe and Hips did try for that outside line. Again, it looked like Ubicorn successful in belting her out there, and she finally just saw enough and called it off.
At the end of all of that, it's a 13-0 jam in favour of the Steel City roller derby people, and it's 105. They've crashed through the century. 35 for Team Potluck.
So it looks like we have Ziggy Starbuster up against
Kalashnikov. Yeah, so these two have already enjoyed a few stoushes.
Yeah, so they seem to be trusting their jammer rotation, and I think Kalashnikov was skipping through the pack, but
almost got through as well.
But I think they're very quick in catching them.
Oh, nice step through the inside, Kalashnikov.
There's I've seen some previous games with the weird Wollongong Illawarra Derby, and they can be very effective in one-on-one blocking. So even if you get past their main wall, they'll a lot of the time have that one person that can still hold the jammer off at the front of the pack. So you could
Kalashnikov's approaching the pack again, so not calling it off, which is intriguing. So they're really. Ziggy Starbuster is just very keen to just get all the points.
So as you can see, she just got past that wall of two. There was a Viciousness, but then there was that front blocker right there to catch her once she got past the wall of two.
Yeah, it looks like she was just waiting for Cranky Crumpet to be released from the penalty box, and as soon as that happened, the jam was called off. So both teams back to 5-on-5 for the start of the next jam.
And we've got Kitty Killer and Noam Chomsky. Kitty Killer number 4 in the purple, Noam Chomsky from Adelaide Roller Derby in the 8 for Team Potluck in the yellow and blue. Ooh.
I've had the pleasure of watching Noam play a couple of games, so it's great to see that even if you don't get into the Adelaides or the Radalaides, you still have a chance to play and show off your skills.
And also, not available on the Boutcaster, but they do have the challenge bouts here. Again, it's similar to Team Potluck, a good way of meeting people from other leagues and getting together, learning new skills, and seeing how you can work together.
Yeah, there were always some fun themes as well. I think we had unicorns versus dragons yesterday at one point. And, the bin chickens versus someone else. So
the bin chickens and the stray cats.
The stray cats, that's right. So if you ever wanted to know who would win out of a fight between the two, roller derby is a good indication. The bin chickens, I think, got up against the stray cats. And dragons beat the unicorns. So, your mythological creatures. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think we had also the emus versus kiwis representing, because the Australia and New Zealand roller derby leagues here at the Great Southern Slam.
Well, there you go. So yeah, challenge bouts. That's an added bonus if you actually come to the showgrounds in person.
And there's Kitty Killer just finding the inside line.
And looks like Noam Chomsky's been recycled all the way back to the pivot line. So and banged outside again. There's a lot of action going on outside.
Yes,
that one resulted in a penalty though for the purple blocker.
Yeah.
That is number 9, Cato Ninetails, being sent to the bin.
And again, you saw just a viciousness there. She realises the jam is going to get past the wall of 2, so she pushed her teammate to sort of keep blocking, try and hold the jammer off. Noam did manage to get past, but jam called off before any points could be scored there for Team Potluck.
Hips and Chips back online.
Yep, and so it looks like Steel City in the purple with the blocker advantage. Do they have? Oh no, pardon me.
Yes.
No.
There's one each in the penalty area. At
one
the
each
moment.
in the penalty box. Yes, didn't quite see that at first from the commentary box here.
Score at the moment 121, place 43. Start of Jam 18.
And both jammers stuck behind these nice walls, but again, looks like Axe and Hips finding that gap. Oh, look at that. So the jammer got past, and again, you see that solo Wollongong blocker just coming up as a last-ditch effort.
Wollongong blocker released from the penalty bin. So that draws the defense back out, and
Axe and Hips just going through for a 4-point scoring pass, making it look like nothing. They make it look like a skate in the park, some of these jammers. But I tell you, that's hours of training at work right there. That's hours of working with your team, forming a game plan, figuring out the what ifs that can happen. Which, it's an advantage that unfortunately Team Potluck don't have with each other.
Absolutely, but this is the great experiment. Ziggy Starburst changing from pivot to jammer for the start of this jam up against Noam Chomsky. So Tom from the bench of Potluck just hustling back as well, making sure he doesn't get busted being on track. And nice, Noam Chomsky through on the inside, picks up lead jam for Team Potluck.
But it does appear it's, pardon me, who we got? Ziggy Starbuster, not too far behind.
Ooh, nice
Hit
block
from
here.
Viciousness, yes.
And not calling off the jam either, so Noam Chomsky just wanting to get all the points and see what she can do. Penalty bench is clear, so there's nothing to keep her.
So as you can see,
track.
there's that wall of 2 kind of in the front. Well, it's reformed again, but you've always got that one stray one who's prepared to catch the jammer if she gets past the main wall. And Viciousness with a hard hit, sending Noam Chomsky to the outside. And
Nat Adder Held doing some great blocking work as well to get Ziggy Starbuster through as well. So with blockers combining the O and D very nicely here.
She took her halfway back around the track there, Viciousness. Noam Chomsky having to re-enter behind the blocker in purple who knocked her off the track.
All right, Pat coming around to turn 3. Noam Chomsky hits the deck again, takes out one of her own. I think that's Ruby. And Ruby has picked up a penalty in there somehow as well. So Ruby Storm heading to the penalty bin at the end of the jam. So pack advantage going to be with Wollongong Illawarra for the next jam.
Potluck's still able to pick up themselves 4 points.
Okay, scores at the moment 144 for Steel City, and Team Potluck 2018 is 49. And the officials have a timeout, so just coming over to check something here.
Yeah, again, gives the teams a chance to have a bit of a chat as well.
And
well, looks like the teams are chatting with each other on the
sideline as well. Yeah,
on the track there. Actually, you're kind of wondering, is it friendly chat or is it smack talk? Oh, hands on the hips. It could be some smack talk going on there.
I doubt it.
No, look, the Derby community. There's a lot of Derby love there.
This is what the officials' timeout was about. So, Pombat, who's the head ref, I think, for this particular bout.
Oh, looks
and appalling as well, just doing some track surgery here, so making sure that everything is safe before we get the next jam underway.
Yeah, because we've seen before sometimes what can happen if the track's not covered, and then people can actually trip over that line because there's normally a slight little rope under there so that it can be marked properly.
That's right. So, they're just making sure that there's some clear wrap over that as well, so everything is smooth, and then we'll be able to get the next jam underway. Just do a quick shout out to AJ's Lighting Sound Events. The reason you can hear and see us, well, not us particularly, but you can see the Derby and hear our voices, is because of AJ's Lighting Sound Events. They're available for all sorts of commercial, domestic applications. They do corporate functions, they do conferences, they do all sorts of stuff. So if you're thinking that sort of stuff, think AJ's Lighting Sound Events. Thank you very much for supporting the Great Southern Slam 2018.
And we're at the tail end of this first half here. It has flown by, much like the Steel City on these Potluck blockers.
It's only seemed that way from time to time. Looks like we've got Kalashnikov and Kitty Killer again, so this is another classic lineup. Two jammers of similar stature, but it's also down to what the blockers give, and it looks like the Potluck blockers were able to give Kalashnikov an opening, and she has seized the opportunity.
And they're Benchy very excited at the sideline there.
A bit of a victory dance of go get some points here.
Oh.
And how many points did she get? Looks like the jam ref is going to consult with the OPRs just to make sure that the hips were through, and 2 points is signalled. So over 50 now for Team Potluck. They're on 51, chasing down Steel City, still on 144.
Definitely they were just going for that points and just trying to stop Wollongong putting on any further of a lead. So, yeah, just grabbing those two and saying, look, not going to risk grabbing any more. Particularly since if you get knocked to the outside, you can't risk their jammer coming through for another 4.
Hips and Chips back on deck, and it's a nice lot of blocking going on here, but it looks like Axe and Hips has just managed to get through to be lead jammer. Chips still stuck behind 2 blockers at this stage. She's taken off the helmet cover and teasing that star pass. But excellent movement here, lateral movement. That's 3-2. Yes, it looks like yes, it worked. So that was Executioner trying to catch the jammer in a cut track situation and did it. So well played by Executioner from Wollongong Illawarra.
But yeah, it looked like with Axe and Hips on that, well, she's got another scoring pass, but on the last one it looks like she just breezed by. Maybe a bit of distraction work there from the blockers.
I think Team Potluck blockers were also trying to help their jammer through at that stage of the pass as well. So everyone was focused on that.
Again, it's the hard work being a blocker because it's simultaneously you do have to help your own jammer through, but you've got to be aware of the opposing jammer and blocking them off. And as you can see, there's a Wollongong keeping one of the Potluck players out, a support staff trying to break up the wall, bring back their player.
And that brings us to the end of the first half, a 15-point jam for Weird, just to end things off. So at this juncture, we'll take a break, the score being a 159, please, 51, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Sure thing. Testing 1, 2. Okay, so we've got less than 3 minutes until we are back with the second half of Track 2 Derby action. If you've just joined us, we have the Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby in the purple versus the Team Potluck collaboration of team on the blue and the yellow. So I'll just go through a quick rundown of our teams once again. So first of all, Team Potluck, which, if you aren't aware, is actually a collaboration team. So you can put your hand up and they put your name in a hat. So, and if you want to be on Team Potluck, they'll draw your name out, and a couple of lucky skaters or to go in this experiment, skate together. But we have 106 Manhattan from Victorian Roller Derby League, 11 Chips from Gladstone, we have 173 Ubercorn from the Wagga Derby Dolls, 2412 Down Under from Western Sydney, 268 Crush and Kick from the Coastal Assassins, we have 32 Bob and Weaver from Canberra Roller Derby, we have 369 Merrill Creep from Adelaide, an 042 Black Belter from the Rockabellas, 47 Kalashnikov from Western Sydney, 53 Terra Australis from Victorian Roller Derby League, 58 Conker Nut from Geraldton, 689 Fairy Dust from Adelaide as well, 73 Ruby Storm also from the Rockabellas, 8 Noam Chomsky from Adelaide Roller Derby, and 95 Buzz Nightyear hailing from Light City. And on the bench we have Tomahawk and Lou Scannon. And Pants, how about those Wollongong Illawarra? Who do we have?
We've got a lot of them. 1-1 Binder Hellenbach, 1-4 Cranky Crumpet, 180 Scarlet Letter, 2-9 Ziggy Starbuster, 3 Axon Hips, 3-2 Executioner, 4 Kitty Killer, 5-4-6 Nat Outta Hell, 7-4 Nat Rageous, 8-2-4 Viciousness, 9 Cato 9 Tails, 9-6 Ruthena. I know Buzz Nightmare for the Team Potluck team. She's the captain for the team for the tournament, and she's been absolutely buzzed to be the captain and chosen for that honour. So it's been fun just having a chat with her and just enjoying all the squee that comes with it, because it's just like, yes, this is so exciting, this is so much fun, and it's so great to be part of this awesome group of individuals coming together to have some fun. I also had a bit of a chat with Ubercorn at halftime as well, and yeah, she's just there going, it's coming together, we can feel it coming together, and it's just exciting. Like that first game, they got the nerves out of the system, and this game they're starting to team together, they're starting to work together, and it's starting to feel natural, it's happening quickly. That's really cool.
Well, again, with Team Potluck is you do have to gel together quite quickly, because you are going up against teams who have spent hours and hours training together, practicing, forming their combinations, and Team Potluck, you're essentially meeting on the day, really.
Exactly. Kitty Killer is through as lead jammer, jamming against Chips, so our favourite flavour combo may have been broken up for the second half.
Oh, jammer rotation, give it a bit of a shake-up. Still the same jammers, just
different order, yeah.
But no less effective with Kitty Killer finding her way through those gaps once again.
A bit of a signal back to the blockers there as well, so maybe something about to happen. Chips with the helmet cover in hand, forced to the outside by Ziggy, so that is going to be another recycle back.
So Ziggy on the other side of matters now in putting a blocker face on.
Yep, Nat Outta Hell combining with her as well, so some really effective blocking to open the second half from Wollongong Illawarra. Chips is through.
Yeah, but you can be sure that Kitty Killer not far behind.
Completed the scoring pass, so that's it.
Calling it off before Potluck getting any for points. So they've got 14 to start off this first jam of the first half.
Yeah, so 173 playing 51. So you'd have to say that Steel City are really trying to stamp their authority here. They're trying to finish off the first round with as many points as they can. Of course, when it comes down to the crunch, if you're needing a point spread to get through, this is going to become very, very, very important. Axon Hips going to be messing around with Noam Chomsky here on the jam line, and a little bit of a pile-up.
And we may have lost a bit of equipment there.
Yep, an equipment malfunction. Chomsky forced to the outside, Executioner doing the damage, so recycling back to the jam line.
And there's a nice little wall of purple forming at the front there. And behind it, that nice little 3 wall of blue and yellow. And Axe and Chips just passed them both. So yeah, you see Viciousness, a very, very resilient player. She's offered that one at the front, that the last line of defense, if you will. And Axe and Chips just charging her way through before calling off the jam there.
Yeah, able to push apart Ubercorn and Fairy Dust and get the hips through, call it off. Ziggy Starbuster now up on the jam line, up against Kalashnikov.
So it's always interesting, the second half of these roller derby bouts, because you tend to see what they may have talked about during that intermission time, because it's definitely a time for them to regroup and rethink the game plan, particularly if you are Team Potluck and maybe need a way to get back into this game.
Yeah, you can see at the moment that 3 wall of Team Potluck just keeping Ziggy at the back. Team Potluck with the pass and the call, and it's a 5-point pass.
Yeah, because she did in fact pass her opposing jammer there as well. Very effective at keeping her at bay there.
To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised. We had a bit of a roll going on here. I thought we might have just kept it going. Try and turn that 5 points into 9.
But it is possible they've just said, look, go for as many points as you can, and
just the points and call if you get the lead.
Because we have seen some very effective jammer action from Steel City, so they may just have thought, ooh, better not risk it. We've got the points, and we'll go for the next one.
Yep, Kitty Killer is through as lead, second time in the half. Up against Chips. Chips again with that helmet cover in hand, very quickly off, but forced back for that big recycle.
Looked like the fella blocker was actually forced back as well, so they may have both been forced to the outside.
Yeah, as you're a blocker pushing someone off and you catch the outside as well, it's like, hey, see you later, you got to go back.
And again, they've got Viciousness and a Scarlet Letter. Their Viciousness being the last line of defense there, having to let the jammer go at the risk of an opaque call.
All right, let's get it on. And it's a power jam to Team Potluck. Killer getting called for a back block, so it's all now in the hands of Chips.
Yeah, Chips does have to get past this wall of purple, and
Viciousness is having absolutely a lot to say. Cat of Nine Tails in there as well. You've got some formidable blockers to get through.
Oh, they're having none of it, I'll tell you what. And again, the last line of defense there.
Ubercorn getting the best of Scarlet Letter in that mix as well, so making sure. And Ubercorn getting called for the failure to return, so let's get on. No pack called again.
Yep, and look, there was the wall of blue and purple there ready to catch the jammer, but again, Kitty just breezing through it.
And another failure to return issue against Team Potluck, so picking up some pack penalties here, and this is maybe another function of not playing together for too long. Kitty Killer back on track and sent off again straight away. That was a cut track penalty, so Team Potluck getting the luck here on this jam.
Yeah, Chips did manage to find her way past the couple of blockers there.
And it's a 10-9 jam in favour of Team Potluck, so able to scrounge back a point in that differential. 191 at the moment, playing 66. 23 minutes and change left to go in the second half.
And it looks like we have a power start here for Team Potluck, which could very well work to their advantage.
Why not stick on Noam Chomsky? And they have. Let's go. Yep, down the inside. Wham, there she goes.
Yep.
Nice opening gambit.
And then we've got the Team Potluck blocker who came right back onto the track, was in the penalty box, but not quite at the start of the jam. So
players back on pitch now for both teams, so it looks like we've got a full complement of blockers. Jammer also released, so we're back to 5-on-5.
Oh, Viciousness. Oh, she did manage to stall the jammer there at the front, but yeah, Noam Chomsky kept on her skates and managed to get past. Although Kitty Killer not far behind here, so let's see how this plays out. Gnome looking to just go for the points here.
Yep, a hit to the ground, so it's a scoring pass now for Steel City.
Though admittedly maybe not something you'd want to...
Whack! Oh, that was viciousness. Absolute shoulder to the chest of Noam Chomsky.
Viciousness by name and
Lord.
viciousness by nature, I tell you.
Well, viciousness is about twice the size of Noam Chomsky, I reckon, and that sent the poor skater flying into the inside track. Wow. All legal, but spectacular.
But it did seem to be a play for the points there with Gnome not calling off the jam. Unfortunately, you can't really do that against a jammer such as Kitty Killer because she actually managed. She actually managed to get herself the
5.
Yeah.
Yep. And 7 points for Team Potluck, so they did get 2 points back on that lead. But it's a long half, and you got to get these big power jams going. You got to really deny your opposition any points at all if you want to have a chance of getting him back into the game. And that's how you do it, 2-0. So it's very important to hold your opposition to no points at all. And it also is frustrating too if you're getting a whole bunch of jams where you're just back-to-back 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yes.
That's where a little frustration perhaps can kick in.
But then, yeah, you've got to keep that frustration at bay because it is those frustrations where you start to get a bit cranky and maybe that wrong...
the stupid hit and the clumsy play and, yeah.
The wrong stray elbow or stray hand goes
now,
up.
Interesting. Binda Hellenbach is jamming for Word now.
Oh.
That's her first jam for the game and picked up lead jammer straight away. So looks like they're starting to respond weird. They're changing things up.
And then you see the Potluck wall, they broke up those jammers, but they were very quick to reform at the front. And again, viciousness, that last line of defense, very effective. She did get a failure to return call there.
Yeah,
so
blocked out of play. So viciousness is off to the bench, and they're going to miss her. That's 30 seconds without a very effective blocker, and up against someone like Fairy Dust, who's a smaller jammer, that could. Could have been had a big effect, but the jam was called off.
So you can admire the resilience of those players that the last line of defence, but they've also got to be careful because they do risk those no pack penalties and failure returns, and they do risk themselves getting sent to the box, which in this case did happen with viciousness.
Steel City have cracked 200. Team Potluck on 75.
So the fans of Wollongong Illawarra, or affectionately known as Weird, will be cheering today.
Ruffiner now on the jam line. So Weird have really started to change up their jam lineup here. Ruffiner also getting her first crack at getting some points on the board up against Noam Chomsky. Both jammers finding it really hard now to get past the wall.
Yeah,
both walls really just solid and very good lateral movement there. You see Ubercorn, Buzz Nightmare in the mix there for Team Potluck at the back of the pack. And Ruffiner are also just getting forced to the inside. So it's all happening.
But then viciousness, as you just see, has come out from the penalty box. So you'll see if she is trying to break up that wall, I think, at the back there.
Yep, Ubercorn also getting pinged for a multiplayer, so that's thinned out the Potluck wall. So, yeah, this is some really effective defense. We're a minute into the jam, and we're only just getting our lead jammer now.
Yep, we do have the Steel City jammer. It is Rathina. Yeah, so I think this is the first jam here in this particular bout. So, yeah, they've had a very effective jammer rotation, so they're probably just maybe wanting to give the main rotation a bit of a break.
Noam Chomsky still at the back of the pack, still trying to work her way through. And it doesn't look like there's a pivot on for Team Potluck at the moment. So that's going to make jamming really hard.
Though we did have Ubercorn coming right back on the track with a vengeance. And, it looks like we do have a power jam situation for Team Potluck right now.
Yeah, it actually looks like there's no pivot on for Team Potluck this jam. So that's really bad news for Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, so she will not be able to do a star pass, so she does have to jam for the full 2 minutes because the lead jammer now in the box and has now lost the ability to call off the jam.
So we do have it just wend its way to its natural conclusion. So 6-0 for Weird on that one. So we've got 206 playing 75.
But it does actually look like we may have a jammer swap here because it did look like the... yes, it was. Yes, the jammer ref was calling a track cut on Noam Chomsky. So...
So what will happen is that at the start of the next jam, the Wollongong jammer will be released straight away from...
So we technically start with no jammers.
That's right. So it's a little bit funny to see, but yeah, both jammers starting from the penalty bin. The Weird jammer will be released straight away because they're effectively finished their serving time on their penalty. So what she was standing anyway, but whatever time was left is now basically 0. And the jammer for Team Potluck will just need to serve the same amount of time.
Team Potluck has actually called a team timeout as well.
Okay. So yeah, maybe they're just wanting to chat about a bit of strategy here. Just get their gear back together, get their heads back into the game, everyone on the same page. Just want to do a quick shout out to Adelaide Showgrounds. Adelaide Showgrounds at Wayville in Adelaide, South Australia, hosting and putting on this event. So thank you so much to them. It's a beautiful venue. We love playing here, and we do appreciate everything that they've done for us.
Well, it is able to host our 5 tracks simultaneously.
4 in the one building.
Yep, 4 in the one area and 1 in the other, and as well as our merch and our vendors in the other venue near track 1.
And our after party.
That's
Very
true
important.
on Monday. So. Yeah, I mean, if you're in the local area, it's definitely worth getting out here, even if you're just here for the day, or maybe even
Monday's
the finals tomorrow.
Amazing. Yeah,
I know last time I think they had a big crowd for the finals.
Absolutely. Underway for the start of the next one. Rathana is now trying to get away through.
Looks there was a bit of an effective block from the Team Potluck pivot.
Remembering to put chips on as the pivot this time. Good idea. Okay, Rathana through now and on the scoring pass. Noam Chomsky released from the bin, so now we've got 5 on 5.
But then, yeah, so I mean, we've got Rathina. She wasn't in the main jammer rotation. She's just been on recently, but you've got to see that she's no less effective than the other counterparts. Again,
Rathana doing it great, but it was also Chips taking care of viciousness to help get Noam Chomsky through the pack. That forces an early call-off, so no points there on the next scoring pass for Weird. So well done.
Noam Chomsky being very quick on her skates, so Weird actually calling it off before even they got 1 point for themselves. So.
Yeah, just making sure Team Potluck got nothing. All right, we're still seeing some changes. Nat out of hell now pulling on the Jammet helmet cover for Weird. So looks like everyone gets to jam on Weird in the second half.
So yeah, but it probably just gives away a little bit of a Weird strategy with regards to their training, is because you can definitely see that they're effective in their one-on-one blocking, and they probably do give everyone a chance to try jammer.
And looks like Team Potluck have responded as well. So Mad Hatton now jamming for Team Potluck.
And we have a power jam. It looks like a Nat out of hell being sent to the box for a forearm block.
All right, so Mad Hatton working as a first-time jammer for the game, and with a power jam to see what she can do. Still got a number of Weird to get past, though, before you can score any points. Yes. And they're waterfalling beautifully forward
here. They really are.
Yeah, that's a really effective bridge as well. This is really good defensive communication.
And a nice hit from, I believe, a Scarlet Letter.
That's it.
Scarlet Letter and Viciousness from the ladies in purple. Very effective blocking today.
So, yeah, Manhattan trying to get around on the outside. That try wall just in front of her. And meanwhile, get out, what is it? Nat out of hell also is back on track and through, so has completed her initial and on her first scoring pass.
Yeah, the ladies in purple making sure that Team Potluck did not capitalise at all on this power jam.
Yeah, they did really well.
But it looks like you can tell that the Weird definitely train in in all sorts of blocking, because they've got those effective walls. You see the effective water floors, and then you've got those, in particular, Viciousness is one to watch for the last line of defence and the one-on-one blocking.
Yeah, and it looks like Executioner is going to be doing double duty, lining up on the blocking line for the second jam in a row. Got Binder Hellenbach back on and up against Kalashnikov by the looks. So looks like Team Potluck just sticking most of the time with their straight jammer rotation.
And Kalashnikov just blitzing through that inside line there.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, a bit of a momentary lapse there from the weird walls, I'd have to say.
Let's see what's going on. Pack moving fairly quickly. Kalashnikov moving very fast on the outside.
And Viciousness having none of it and catching her. And again, she likes to bring him right back, doesn't she?
Ruby Storm heading to the penalty bin for Team Potluck. So thinner walls for the jammer to get past. And quite spread out up front, so very spread out pack at the moment.
Yeah, very, very spread out there.
And actually the head ref calling a failure to return. So
and Viciousness again, that last line of defence there. But is it? I think it's Bob and Weaver at the back. I think she's trying to...
Well, she's trying to catch up to the back, but it's moving so fast.
Or was she hanging back to try and get that failure to return call from the ones at the front? Because you do have to be in that main area.
Yeah, you have to be in the engagement zone, but now is a back block against Binder Hellenbach as it comes to an end.
That was a very, very fast-moving pack there.
Just keeping an eye on Kalashnikov here. She came off track. I wondered if she picked up a late penalty as well, but no, she's heading to the penalty bin. So it's just one jammer in the penalty bin at the moment for Purple. Buzz Nightmare sitting down also for Team Potluck. So both teams with one blocker short, and the power start to Fairy Dust.
We've got that
Team Potluck.
We've got that nice little 2-2 up at the jammer line.
Yeah, don't even need to look at a number. You know who's on track.
Fairy Dust, yep, definitely.
Got an officials timeout at the moment. Tomahawk on track having a chat with Team Potluck just to work out this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to play this power start. Let's see what we got.
But they've obviously been a bit happy with the refs' decisions here, because I don't think either team has used their official reviews.
No, it's not a bad idea to keep them in, only use them when it's absolutely necessary. We have a timeout being signalled from Wollongong bench, I think. The benchy with the hands up in a T. I don't know if the refs have seen. No, yes, no, no, yes, no, 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 yes. Do I, don't I? Well, shrug of the shoulders. This is a masterclass in benchy signals.
Here we go. No, we got the jam timer in the middle of the track here calling it. Well, it's an
official's timeout.
He's motioning the official's timeout. There we go.
Tomahawk back on track now, just having another word with the Team Potluck blockers.
So I'm guessing Weird was probably going to call the team timeout, but the officials were already in one, so they're like, oh well, then.
Well, if we wanted a break, then we're getting it. The current timeout is going to 90 seconds at the moment.
Well,
thank you very much, Rachel Ang, for voicing your fandom of Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby. Thank you very much. Great to have you on and enjoying the stream here. Whistle blows and Fairy Dust is just attacking that wall.
Although she's probably not too keen to go up against a blocker like Cato Ninetails. We've seen her at work.
Well. She got through, and good work from Team Potluck, just dragging that pack back to make sure that it was going to be an out of play call rather than engagement that got it through. And there goes Fairy Dust. Nice 5-point pass.
Yeah, definitely of their benefit to have this power jam situation. They did capitalise, but now looks like all
players back on, yeah.
Yep, all back on track here. And
everyone got released at the same time. That was kind of specky.
So we have Binder Helen back, I believe.
No, track cut against Fairy Dust.
Oh, no.
So she has to give up lead.
So we do have a power jam reversal now. for Weird in the purple.
You can see Tom with just a bit of a smile on his face, and the bench area just running back to the bench area after Fairy Dust got that track cut. You know, she gave her all on that one and tried so hard to get past. Just at that last second, you just touch outside and you make the play.
Binder Helen back now passing. So because Fairy Dust was lead jammer, the jam will go for the full 2 minutes in this power jam reversal. There was a bit of an effective blocking there from Team Potluck. They did push Binder out, and then she got right back in and passed it.
That was a very effective use of the blocker there, hitching a ride on the Cat O' Nine Tails train.
Nice last line of defence there, but Cat O' Nine Tails came right in to support her jammer, and yes, I believe it is chips in the pivot helmet for Team Potluck, the blue and yellow there.
Absolutely. Fairy Dust coming on with the helmet cover in hand, just working up front to break through that last couple of blockers. Ziggy Starbuster and Axe and Hips. And did she get any points?
So as you can see, Ziggy and Axe and Hips both have been in the jammer rotation, but then we're getting to see them on the other side of things now, and they seem to be just as effective as blockers.
All right, so the jam ref for Team Potluck just having a chat in the middle, holding up 4 points, so well done. So Fairy Dust getting 9 points and 7 points for Steel City, so 227 playing 91. We are 9 minutes 45 left to go. We've got Cranky Crumpet now for Weird up against Noam Chomsky, another new jammer.
So yeah, it's definitely showing the versatility of the Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby, that they clearly do cross-train a lot, like most of their pack. And again, we've got Viciousness up there with that last line of defence. She's got to be a bit careful. She's going a bit far
forward, and did get the penalty.
Oh no, she did get the penalty there. Yes.
And it's a power jam, so Crumpet sitting down for Weird. It's all Noam Chomsky. It's all in her pocket at this stage. So let's see what she can do.
So there was a bit of support there from the Team Potluck pivot in breaking up that wall of 2, but they're very quick, and Weird being very effective with their one-on-one blocking too. So it seems even when you break up their walls, like they can be just as effective on their own, or even with that waterfall of reforming.
So no pass, no penalty being signalled by the jam ref. So it's a 4-point pass, not 5. And so that's called off there by Noam. So they're going to get... Crumpet just got released from the penalty bin at the end. So we're going to be back to 5-on-5 for the start of the next jam. Timeout signalled by Wollongong Illawarra.
So yeah, rather than calling it during that official timeout, they're calling it a bit later. So... yeah, didn't want to waste it. So,
want to give a big shout out to Physio Fit. They're the Adelaides and Radelaides official physio provider. But over this long weekend, they are providing their services to every skater at the Great Southern Slam. That's pretty cool of them, I would say.
Do the commentators get any of these massage services?
You can only ask. But
there we go.
I don't think they do vocal cord massage. We have to save that for the after party.
Yeah, that's true. Or our day jobs for when we actually have to pay the rent.
That is true. No, it's all good. Thank you. A big much to Quack and the gang from Physio Fit SA for providing their services over the long weekend. Thank you so much, guys. Team Potluck just occupying the track at this stage for their team powwow. Having a bit of a wave to the purple guys. Hey, come and join the party. They're like, no, we're very happy over here having a yak. But it's good. We've got drinks. But
then you can imagine a couple of the members of Team Potluck, the ones, because we've got Western Sydney and up there, that they probably have actually played a few of the Weird girls before.
Yeah, sort of a bit of a reunion on track. We've got Rathina up against Kalashnikov for the start of jam number 14.
You see that nice wall of Potluck. They're just eyeing Rathina at the jammer line.
It's going to be fun. Let's get it on.
That's what I love about our position at the commentary table, is you actually get to see the blockers, just those intense faces when they're eyeing off the jammer.
Yeah, that's a really intense face on Mad Hat at the moment. I think that smile can be seen around the world. She's having a blast. All right, whistle blows. Here we go. Now the game faces are on. Rathina just getting absolutely stonkered there at the back. That's 7-3 getting in on the action.
Yeah,
that's Ruby Storm.
Nice little wall. They're nearly broken up there, but a bit too close to the outside line.
And they drew a penalty against the jammer, so well played by the Team Potluck blockers. Klashnikov has the track to herself, plus 4 other purple players to score some points.
So yeah, just another power jam for the Team Potluck. Hopefully able to capitalise such as Fairy Dust did. There we go. You see Viciousness heading all the way, like bringing her nearly halfway back around again.
Yeah, that's a long way to go, but let's try again. Got a couple of points in the bag. Let's get some more.
But then bringing her back so far allows her to reform that wall of purple in the back.
Rathina back on. And we've got a bit of a whip and a bit of a stack, and it's all happening. Nice work up front, Team Potluck. That was 268 crushing kick.
Yeah.
Last line of defense.
Yeah, very effective last line of defense there. She did. She managed to get to Rathina right to the outside. Oh look, and there she is again. Seems to be taking a little bit of a leaf out of Viciousness book. Oh, there we go. We've actually got those two blockers going at it together at the front.
Yep, and looks like Crushing Kick got picked up a cut track penalty. We've got a failure to reform penalty now against Weird. So refs just with a lot to do at this stage. The pack getting a bit spread out and needing to be having eyes everywhere.
There was a bit of a decoy there. Like you got Ruby Storm sort of getting and then the Wollongong Wall forming trying to get her, and their jammer almost getting past, but they did manage to catch her. She did get the points, though.
It wasn't Crushing Kick that went to the penalty bin. She's skating off under her own power, so yeah, some really great blocking going on here. This is fun. And
it looks like we've got Andrew G shouting his love for Chips from Gladstone Roller Derby, currently playing for the Team Potluck.
We all love Chips. She's been doing great out here, mixing up blocker, jammer, pivot.
Oh, look at that. That little knock from Fairy Dust on her opposing jammer.
Hey, she's
right
small
at
but
the
sneaky.
Whistle.
That's a great jammer move. You've got to expect that sort of thing from time to time.
Oh, I did see that yesterday. Oh, gosh, I think it was because it's so unexpected. It very rarely happens that when it does, it can just knock the other jammer through the 6, really.
We've got a double penalty issued against the Team Potluck blocker who's sitting down, so maybe just failed to heed in time. Fairy Dust, meanwhile, up the front against Axon Hip and is now through. Scoring pass for Team Potluck, 4 points being held up by the jam ref.
And then you got Chips in the pivot.
And it's Conker out the front, doing some damage here
there's
for Team
Fairy
Potluck.
Dust. Oh, Axon Hip saying nope.
And yeah, three weird blockers off at the same time, so only the one blocker left on track. It's been a pretty action-packed penalty jam on that one.
Although admittedly the weird blockers currently on the track is now Viciousness and Cato Ninetails. So
yeah, they're kind of okay.
If you're gonna, I think if you're 2 blockers down, if you're gonna field anyone, I think it would be you'd probably be picking those 2.
With 4.5 minutes left to go in the game as an official's timeout is called. 2:31 playing 1:07 at this juncture of the game. Tomahawk having a chat with the Team Potluck players on track. Weird just holding their own powwow also on the track.
But it looks like we've definitely got a bit of love here in the little chat box. Got some support for Weird, some support for Chips in the Team Potluck here too.
Nice. Thanks for being part of our stream, coming to you live and direct from the Wavell Showgrounds in South Australia, in Adelaide, for the Great Southern Slam 2018. This is the first bout of day number 2.
Oh, again we've got
lots of action.
Again we've got some more support for Chips from Brett here. So Chips has
got a fan club.
Got a fan club up here.
Awesome.
Is it people from Gladstone? Everyone up in Gladstone watching?
Good. Keep it up. All right, Noam Chomsky up against number 4. That is our buddy Kitty Killer.
Oh, yep, and she's found those gaps in the outside. Not lead jammer, though.
Nope, it's all Noam.
Noam Chomsky here.
And both of these jammers going all game, and they're both going so hard. This is great.
Oh, but yeah, again, yeah.
Kitty Killer was able to get through nicely, but it's Viciousness able to shut down Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, there was a bit of an attempt, I believe, a 53 Terra Australis trying to break up that wall, but yeah, Cato Ninetails and Viciousness, very effective blockers there, but...
Looks like the jam ref is coming over just to clarify the number of points that Team Potluck scored. Okay, 2 points is the final adjudication. There's so many rules about scoring you've got to be aware of, especially when there's players in the penalty box. So 2 adjudicated, 109 plays 235. We are all set for the start of the next jam. Looks like we're going back to the old school. We've got Ziggy Starbuster and Kalashnikov back online.
Yeah, well, we're down to our last 3.5 minutes here, so they're probably just wanting to finish off strong and really grab the points.
Yeah. And we have an official's timeout.
So we got Kalashnikov and a Ziggy Starbuster lining up, and the wall's right up at the jammer line. So they're wasting no time.
Yep, so the penalty box looks like they're making sure, looks like Ubercorn is going to sit down, so it looks like there's a bit of confusion over how many penalties that Ubercorn needed to serve.
Yeah, you can see Luscious Locks making the vigorous hand gestures at the side there.
Great hair colour. All right, let's get it on. We now have the correct number of players on track, 4 versus 2 in the terms of blockers.
Yeah, and you don't want Weird to have those blocker advantages, do you?
Don't want. I mean, even when there's 2 on the track, that's pretty hard going.
So, Gladstone Roller Derby, enjoy the game and support our chips. That's good to hear. Now, it's nice that even those who can't make it are still supporting their teams from home.
Kalashnikov just raced through the inside line, little step through off the apex and picks up a 4-point pass. That was superb.
And she's speeding around now for another scoring pass. And she
gets it.
She found that gap.
So 5 points to 4 at the moment. So Ziggy also on a scoring pass.
And it looks like Ubercorn from the Wagga Derby Dolls has made their way back on the track. Bit of blocking effort there. Sending Clash to the outside.
Don't know if Kalashnikov actually called that. She was looking at the OPR. And I didn't see the gesture clearly, but I, of course, have a different angle to what the jam ref would have seen. But, yeah, that's interesting. She was sort of looking at the OPR as if to say something, but nothing was overtly said.
Well,
intriguing.
Well, nothing's been said.
Nothing's been official reviewed, so we're back on for another jam.
And look, we have a couple of favourites here. We have Chips.
Well, we've got Fairy Dust with the jammer helmet,
but we got Chips in the pivot. So
sweet, and we've got Binder Helen back for Weird at the moment too.
Well, yeah. So we got a fan, Quark One for Go Down Under Thunder. So great to watch you. So
sweet.
We may very well have a Western Sydney fan up here too as well.
Well, thanks for joining us on the live stream as well.
And, Gladstone PCYC Roller Derby loves our chips.
Sweet. All right, Accent Hips, I should say. I've got chips on the brain. Up against Noam Chomsky, and this may well be the last jam of the game. Minute and a bit left to go on the period clock. Let's see what happens. We might finish off here. We might get one more. Let's see what happens. Noam Chomsky.
She did manage to get through that wall of purple.
Very nicely. Saw a chink in the armor and went for it.
Which we have seen is definitely not a very easy thing to do.
The whole game, it's been a very solid wall of purple up the front, which has made life so hard for Team Potluck. But looks like the last couple of jams, They've just let things just go a little bit loose, understanding they do have the game in the bag, but they still need to keep scoring points. It can make a difference if it's important when it comes to setting out the quarterfinal seeding.
As we called it, the points differential. So you can never underestimate those...
Nice hit on the way through against Axe and Hips.
Oh, no, she's stopped it just before the period clock, so we may very well get one more jam in here.
I don't think we've got just don't have enough time. It's a 4-second...
Oh, no, they're lining up quickly.
Yeah, but we're going to run out of clock, so we'll see what happens with the timeout. Will someone call a timeout? Will they do it? Will we have one more jam? It's still lining up, and it looks like we're going to run out of time. So that is all she wrote. The unofficial score is 244.
But they're still got the skaters lined up, so
no one's actually called it. No one's noticing the clock. So 129 for Team Potluck, and Steel City Derby Dolls at 244, and that is the... no one's looking at the clock. This is hilarious.
Oh, they all got ready. They all got ready to do another jam.
They all started to jam, and it's just like, guys, the clock says unofficial score. Hello.
So we've had a shout out from a Flat Track Protocol, Jared Quinn. Big shout out to all of the Gladstone folk. And go Chips from your favourite junior Gladstone Derby player, Woundicorn. So yeah, we'll have to tell Chips that she's got her fan club watching here.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on the live stream today. Final score as the whistle blows: Steel City Derby Dolls 244 from Wollongong Illawarra.
And Team
Potluck 2018 129 points. My name is Pants.
And my name is Dylan with it. So be joining you through the commentary throughout the day, both live here at the venue and on the Boutcast stream. So be sure to tune in for more track action across the TGSS weekend.